Yo, so man, so now tell me in the transition from you going from the what is that, the White Sox, no,
No,
the Braves to the White Sox, and that transition,
the Braves to the
the
Cubs.
Braves to the Cubs, yeah, the Braves to the Cubs, and that transition. I mean, how was that? Because you're leaving somewhere that you really loved, you really love.
Yeah.
So you took any tips or any insights about that?
Well, I went and I left not because, for one, my direct man had left to go to Tampa Bay. He was general. He got the expansion general manager's job, Chuck Lamar, and I was praying that he would take me over there and be the scouting director or something. But little did I know at the time, when he got the job, Don Schultz was like, "You're not taking anybody over here. You damn sure ain't taking Dave out of there because you're not doing that." So Chuck never called me, never told me that, never said shit. I had a little bit of chip on my shoulder about the shit, but I gradually understood because I went up the ladder. So I'm with Atlanta, and it's Christmas time. I'm home in Berkeley. I get a call. It's John Sherholtz. I'm going, oh, what the hell? My father's answering the phone. He said, John Sherholtz on the phone. I said, what? Man, I'm like, what the fuck is, excuse my language, what? But I was thinking that because he didn't call. I'm like, what the hell is going on? He on the phone. He said, hey, Dave, how you doing? How's your family, everything? I'm like, fine. He said, the Cubs called for permission to talk to you about the farm director's job. I said, he said, yeah. He said, yeah. But he didn't think I mean, I hadn't talked to him. All he knew was my work. He didn't know what my aspirations were or whatever. He did know, but he didn't know it directly and how confident I was about what I could do. But I could tell in his voice, so I didn't go, well, I'll take that. I want to interview. But I was like, can I think about it? He's like, yeah, think about it. I tell you, think about it. Don't, he thought I was going to turn it down. And so I said, he said, I'll call you back tomorrow or something to see what you think. And he called me back the next day, and I said, Don, I want to I want to go to the interview. And he got quiet. And he's like, if you go on this interview, you got a chance to get the job. I was like, well, I got kind of pissed a little bit because I'm like, well, you want me to stay here? Because he said, I talked to Stan, we'll match whatever. Oh, no. This is afterwards. No, he's like, you got a chance to go. He said, well, but if you want to go. So I was like, damn, I kind of felt, he made me feel a little bad just because I wanted to, because it's the Braves. And even when the Braves go to the fucking Cubs, excuse my language, but that's the way it was. The Cubs, they weren't the Braves. They weren't. And, he knew, man, Atlanta was going on at the time, man. John Sherholtz, he was the general manager of the Kansas City Royals. They had Willie Mays agent. They had Willie Wilson. They had Frank White. They had U.L. Washington. They had Hal McCray. And Amos Otis. Man, they had, and he
Oil Can
was
Boy.
not the person that he talked about black people when he talked about them. He talked to them when they had slang and stuff.
Oil Can Boy.
No, he didn't play for Kansas City. He played for Boston.
Oh, my bad.
No, I knew my baseball, and I knew all about John Sherrill. So when it was like, hey man, he's putting together players. He had the blueprint. He had the blueprint, and when Chuck left, I was in the office. He come to me, and what do you think about this? That meeting, this is Chuck was there. We're in a meeting. We're talking. He's talking to Major League Scouts, and we needed another outfielder because Ron Danny got hurt, and somebody else got hurt, and we need another outfielder for the playoff run. And we needed somebody who was going to be. They had some scouts had Stan Javier, and the other was now brain crapping because I'm going to recommend him from Baltimore, and he went to ASU.
Devereaux?
Mike Devereaux, thank you, baby. And so he said I'm on phone call. The scouts, the Major League scouts, we're talking and stuff, and they're pushing Stan Javier because he's a switch hitter, plays D, and I played with Stan in the minor leagues. I was older, but Stan was
switch hitter.
Stan was a slap hitter. He played the game. His dad was a big leaguer. He got a chance. Stan was just mediocre, to be honest. That's all it was. Nice guy. Stanley, I love him. He's a good person. Love him to death. See him today. He give me a hug. I'll see him in Dominican. Yeah. But he knows. They knew. Filoni, all the guys in Dominican. I had a rapport with guys. That was who I was. And I was always proud to be who I was and nobody else. I wasn't trying to be anybody else. But long story short, they wanted Stan Javier. I said, Devereaux will pop the ball out of the ballpark. We got pitching. That one run, he don't have to steal it, but he can steal a base also. But Devereaux can pop the ball out of the yard. We run homer. 3 runs. We just done. Because we had Glavine, Smoke, Maddox. I mean, we were running out. We were running outside Young County. There wasn't no 7-6 game. We played 2-3 run homer and pitched. Stole bases. Otis Nixon was out there stealing base. We get a run. We didn't need a big runs because we pitched and we played defense. So John come back. He listened on Friday and they pushing. And I'm not saying I'm the one who pushed him to get the deal, but I was the one who pushed Devereaux more than anybody. And evidently they had good reports on him because he ended up coming in the office. And we got Devereaux. He came to my office. We got Devereaux, and then walked back out. I'm going, man, I said, shit, he got Devereaux because I said that? I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, man, Devereaux came in, man. Devereaux was MVP of the championship series. He went deep 2 or 3 times. Man, came in my office. When he came in, he hit the 3-run home. We watched him. He came in my office, looked at me, and then walked back out. But he was laughing. Like, yeah, okay. You spoke up, and I went with it, and we won the series. Man,
MVP.
He was MVP of the championship series. Oh yeah, with homers. What I said, he can pop a homer. He can pop, and we got Maddox and Glavine, 5-6 innings, 1-1, 1-0. Somebody gets on, and Devereaux's up, pop a 2-run homer, we won. He had 2 2-run homers in the series. Both of them give us a go ahead and won the game.
So wait, and I guess this is my first time really. Sorry, you were in 2 World Series?
We were in 3 World Series. I went to 3 or 4. First one we went to Minnesota, and we lost. Then we went to Toronto, and then we lost. I think we lost Philadelphia in the National League Championship, and Philadelphia with the World Series. And the following year, we won, and we beat Cleveland in '95. We were off. We didn't come in. Nobody came in afterwards. We came to spring training. Our scout, and we came in like, man, we getting ready to win the series. Every year we came in like we were going to win the series. We didn't win it. We won. We were always winning. People knew who we were because not only were we winning, if we wanted a player and he was unsignable, everybody else thought he was unsignable. Oh, the Braves like him. They'll sign him.
Okay. So get back to the. So you go to the Cubs, and when you go to the Cubs, how's that transition? Meaning, like, is it friendly to the point where is it really spiteful? Do the owners like each other? Are the people in charge, the managers, general managers, or something like that? What is the camaraderie right there?
Well, Lynch was the general manager and Andy McPhail was the president, but Ed Lynch played in the big leagues. Ed Lynch pitched for the Mets. He played on one of the best teams ever with Straw and Doc and Keith Hernandez, Ray Knight, Larry Dykstra, and Ron Darlin. And, I mean, man, he was. And Ed was from Miami. Relating, I did my homework also when they called for permission, and then Ed, I called some people who I knew who played with him or played against him and knew who he was, and I got the good vibes from what I gathered. So I went in there, and they had a couple other people, and I think they might have leaning towards trying to hire somebody of minority descent, a black guy, and none of the other ones. I mean, I'll be honest with you. You know, I had no problem thinking I was going to get the job. And later on, when I got the job, and I knew Ed was telling me, he was laughing at. I'm laughing, but he was like, man, this guy, what about this guy? He was talking about another black dude, but he was just talking about, man, he was like, man, too square, basically. That's what I mean. Ed played the game. You gotta be, man, if not, you haven't played it, you better be a grinder. Even if you're smart, you better be a grinder. You can't be looking like you're too scared to get your fingernails dirty or whatever. You better be able to go hoop or whatever. Ed hooped in college in South Carolina and played baseball. So, man, we shot basketball, we worked out. Man. But Andy was president, Andy McPhail. McPhail's big in baseball. And Andy came over from Minnesota and had won with not much money and all. So he came over, and he was very tight on a lot of stuff. And definitely tight on guys, players. He wanted, like the Minnesota, you know, he was a very conservative man. But he taught me a couple of things that I always remember also. But after a few months, they had their organization, the owners meeting. So he goes up to Andy McPhail, goes up to John Schuerholz and says, tell me about Dave Wilder. John Schuerholz said, oh, but if you don't want him, I'll take him back. And he was like, no, I don't want you. He's like, tell you about it. What? You hired him. If you don't want him, I'll take him back. And Andy didn't say anything else. Andy came back and told me that story word for word. But no, it wasn't John who told me that. Andy McPhail told me that with the look in his eyes like, wow. Because he had respect for John. Because John went over and won. He won in the American League and won in the National League. At the time, he was only a general manager ever to do it. So it wasn't like he might not like, because John dressed nice, sharp all the time. Little bit arrogant, but he had arrogance because he could, because he was good. Not good, he was great. But yeah, that tripped him out. It's like, wow. Now he looked at me, from a different lens, because I'm not desperate. And I got somebody back there that's a Hall of Fame general manager that's told him, if you don't want him, I don't know what to, he didn't ask what was going, whatever. He just said, if you don't want him, I'll take him back right now. Because when Cubs offered me the job, I called John and told him, well, John called me. Cubs offered you the job. You going to take it? He said, before you answer that, Stan told me, whatever they give you, we'll match it. And it's not the money. It's the challenge. I wanted to walk on the field and be the farm director, a black farm director that knew. I wasn't going to just be I was going to be a good farm director with the best farm director. Not the best black farm director. I was going to be the best farm director. Because all the players, they were going to respect me because I respected them. And I respected what they were going through. Very little did I have any problems with any of the players. I had problems with some of the coaches. And some of the coaches wanted to be the guys. And this is what it was before. And I learned from Atlanta. It's about the players. It ain't about the coaches. And I was the only one they ever dealt with that would side with the player every now and then. Now, man, I'm not. The players are going to be scared that this coach is doing guys wrong, and they're scared to come to the management and tell them. No. We get no bad guys out. No. We had, and there were a few that I had to keep because of, not Ed, but because of Andy. Old school, really conservative, and that mentality, never really being around a bunch of educated black people. He was around athletes, Kirby Puckett and all. I mean, and he used to say, he used to make, not fun, but he used to mimic how Kirby would talk with the slang and all. And then, when I'm from California, we don't do that. And people that aren't of color don't do that. Because we got intelligent people all over this state. Black, white, purple, brown, yellow, or whatever. Don't underestimate the other guy, because you couldn't. But in certain areas, in the Midwest and other in the South, that's a different story. But yeah, it was a difference.
So then the Cubs, from the Cubs, how did the White Sox take you over? You stayed in Chicago?
No, I didn't get White Sox. I went to the Brewers after that. The Brewers offered me a VP of player personnel, assistant general manager. At the time, there wasn't anybody else in that position. I was the highest ranking black guy in that position. Of course. And I did get some words of wisdom with Andy. He was like, don't go on all the, they may have to go on interviews, for general managers interview. And he didn't say this verbatim, but he's basically saying because you were the minority and the black guy, they need to interview one. Because after a while, Dave, you go about 3 or 4 or 5 times, you don't get that job. The general manager, the owner who has you in there is like, I'm not giving that job. He couldn't even get the Kansas City job, or he couldn't get the Pittsburgh job, he couldn't get the Diamondback job, or he couldn't get Boston job. Who else? Oh, I said Kansas City, Boston, who else? Arizona, Pittsburgh, Boston. Like, don't go on all those. He said that, but when I got to the White Sox, Jim Reinsdorf and Bud Selig, good friends. They sent me on interviews. I knew I didn't have a chance to get the job, but they were telling me to go. And when am I going to say, no, I don't want to go? And I knew what Andy said. I should have not gone, but I got an owner, and then the owner is tight with the commissioner. So I'm that quota guy. I had Kansas City fly into the airport, private airport in Scottsdale. I interviewed in that little place where you wait for the pilots to come out for the little private jets, and interviewed over there. And then went on to the plane for about a half hour, the owner and his son. And they interviewed me on the run. And then the next day, they hired Dayton Moore, who I knew already. Dayton came from the Braves. I knew him. He came behind us. I mean, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. But he had enough time, and he won a World Series. But he had years. Go look at the years he had before he won. And I know damn well, I mean, evaluating and doing the things to do to make an organization good, I know I could do that in anywhere, if given the opportunity. But they hired him. I didn't have a chance. I'm like, damn, this is quick. Oh, yeah, and in Baltimore, I got an interview with Baltimore Orioles, and Peter Angelos is the owner. He don't even come out into the office until his attorney interviewed me for 2.5 hours. And he's looking at me, and I'm giving him good answers. He's looking at me like, okay, hold on one second. Let me introduce you to Peter. I'm like, Peter, you said Peter wasn't here. Yeah, no, Peter, he didn't say anything. I didn't say that, but I'm thinking in my mind. So I go and meet Peter, and the attorney wanted him to talk to me a little bit, but he didn't want to talk to me. I saw in his eye, hey, how you doing? He wouldn't look me in the face, and good, you interview, good. Thank you for coming. This and that, gone. I was, man, are you serious? I walked out of there like, I felt like I had gotten raped you want to be honest about it. I walked out of there like, I walked in there with my chest stuck out. Like, I'm coming from the Braves. We're way better. I mean, I was with the Cubs at the time, but I'm coming from the Braves. We went from worst to first, and we stayed, and we won, and we developed, and we did great. Man, you guys haven't been good since the 70s, the Orioles. You haven't done anything right. He didn't have any thoughts of hiring me. Never thought about it.
So did you have any interview that was a legit interview that talked about and asked you questions? What was there any?
Man, I used to talk about a lot of stuff. They had to, because they had to have other people in there to make sure that you were getting the same questions and all. You can get interviews. I had interviews that I love questions, and I had to answer to all of them. There wasn't one interview that I went in there and like, man, are you serious?
No, I'm asking, was there like one that was like you really thought that you had a chance to get it, and it was like they liked you, and you felt like you just knocked it out the ballpark? Was it everyone, or just was it one particular?
Man, like I said, see, this was a job that I wanted since I was 9 years old, dude. I wanted to be a player, and I wanted to be. We used to sit up in the nighttime. We have a couple of our friends spend the night. My brother and I. We'd spout out the starting five for the Detroit Pistons. Who's the left tackle in Cincinnati Bengals? I knew all that shit, man. All of them. I knew more than all of them. My brother, everybody. We ended up going to sleep. I know that I had glass. I knew. Just like these people, I was supposed to have that job. And it wasn't something that I wanted because of I wanted the money, but I knew I could do that job, man, and I could do the job better than everybody else. I've been doing that job all my life. I didn't come into no games and not know who the outfield, who could throw, the catcher could throw, outfield, right, left field. Did nobody tell me that? See, I was in Little League. I knew who couldn't throw. Hit the ball to the left fielder and he can't throw. I'm going to second base. Catcher can't throw. I'm stealing all the time. I come to scouting report, man. Hey, man. We're in the minor leagues. We're in Chattanooga somewhere. You come out early, watch him throw. Watch him hit. You got power right field or whatever. Man, I was scouting when I was playing. I always wanted to have that edge. That I had a problem when I was in the first grade when the subjects, I was so sports oriented, I learned how to read from the Green Chronicle, San Francisco Chronicle, the sports page in the morning. My father would get up in the morning, I'd get up, get in his lap, he'd be drinking coffee, I'd be reading the paper with him. And the first grade teacher called my mom and dad up, who went to school with my father, and said that I had a learning disability. They thought I was slow. My mom and dad looked at him and they were like, oh, okay. We'll be back. Came up there, green sheet. Hey, read this. What does that mean? Who did this and that? She looked like she looked like she had solved goals. The black lady. She was really to put me down another grade, like I was mentally disabled. And at the time, after that, I was going to the classes above. And she didn't even know at the time my brother was in a higher class, so I'd have to wait for him after school. So that teacher would let me in the class, and I'd be reading and writing, doing everything with them, on par with all of them. She didn't have a clue. But I learned how to read and define and transition through the sporting page, the sporting green, up and down. I knew all of them. So, can I get on the TV and can I get on the show and tell them, man, these people that are doing this and why I'm so upset that I wasn't wouldn't give him the opportunity. And when it happened, when things happened to me, I knew I did it. I knew I was never going to be a farm director. I mean, a general manager. They basically didn't care what. And that was something. I didn't become a big league. I got hurt. I could play in the big league. There's a bunch of guys I know I could outplay. And the players in there, McGuire, Canseco, if I come to the game, they would tell you that. Stu, they tell you that. So I didn't have to. I never went around and said I was big. Man, these guys talk about, I should have played. I was this and that, and I got hurt. I said I got hurt. But I don't have to tell you this. Go ask the guy. I played with him. Go ask him. Go ask him. I don't need to tell him how good I was, whatever. Go ask McGuire. Go ask Canseco. Those are two Hall of Famers that may not be in the Hall of Fame. They were there, and I played with them. Belcher, Jimmy Belcher. So yeah, that part, bring it on. I want this. But something needs to be said. And it's not going to be all bad about the people because the White Sox situation. Because like I said, it wasn't for the Braves. And I had friendships in this game that only few. Ed Lynch called me up before I went to prison and called me up afterwards, sent me magazines, told me, man, I don't care what anybody says about it. I know who you are. I know what kind of person you are. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever let nobody tell you something different because we all make mistakes.
Man, so, I really want to get into the White Sox World Series run.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that now because that's going to be long. I got some stuff in that White Sox